Okay, let's see if this becomes live here. Just waiting for the stream to come up. Okay, looks like we are up. Alright, this is Jason's Tech Tips. Today I figured we would go over Ilmex Linux, which is doing pretty well on DistroWatch right now. I know you're not supposed to go by this when you look at popularity or how good a Linux distro is, but try to make this a little bit bigger. I guess it's not working too well. But if you look over here on the page hit rating for DistroWatch, you'll see that that Ilmex Linux is actually going pretty far up on the chain. It's actually beating long time held place of Linux Mint, where Mint used to be always on the top. Of course, Manjaro did the exact same thing that Ilmex Linux apparently is doing right now. But people were taking a big look at it, and I just noticed this the other day, so I figured, hey, I'll do a video on it. It says here, Ilmex Linux is a desktop-oriented Linux distribution based on Debian's stable branch. It is a cooperative venture between the anti-X and the former MEPIS Linux communities. Using XFCE as the default desktop, it is a mid-weight operating system designed to combine an elegant and efficient desktop with simple configuration, high stability, solid performance, and medium-sized footprint. So, with that in mind, I figured we would. It's looking like a nice little distro here. So I figured, hey, let's install that today on the live stream and see what people think about it. Let's see what I think about it anyway. If anybody's actually watching this live, I probably won't be paying attention too much to the chat, but you guys are welcome to sit around and just check it out. Hang on one second, and I'll try to get our a virtual box going here. I guess I could switch over to the proper window, and we'll see. I apologize for the window being so freaking small, but that's OBS for you sometimes. Okay, so let me make a little virtual machine here to check out our Ilmex Linux. So if any of you guys don't know, which you probably don't because I haven't done any kind of Linux anything on this channel yet, I'm a pretty big fan of Debian based Linux distributions. They are they're pretty straightforward and easy to understand, and most of the popular Linux distributions are Debian these days. So it looks like we got a little nice bootloader there. Let me make sure it's going to the right screen here. Of course we're not. There we go. Fixed it. Okay, so we're just booting up right now off of the ISO file that I downloaded prior to starting the stream. and this is running in VirtualBox. Never tried MX Linux before, so I am experiencing it pretty much as you guys are experiencing it. Right now we got us a nice black screen. There's a bar on the side now. Okay, so this looks like kind of set up the same way as Ubuntu was, where there was a bar on the side of the screen. And not too many people. Some people liked it. I didn't care for it too much. But I guess I don't know why my cursor keeps disappearing. Why do you hate me for VirtualBox? Well, this is a little embarrassing. So it's either not booted all the way, or it's not faring well in VirtualBox. I'm not entirely certain what's going on. Oh, it looks like it's still possibly booting. It could be just because I'm running this on my... There we go. Okay. There we go. So it just didn't boot all the way yet. I've got OBS running and VirtualBox running at the exact same time, along with some other things on this my tiny little laptop here, so it's struggling along. Okay, so we got it booted up, and looks like we got welcome to MX Linux, a fast, friendly, and stable OS loaded with amazing tools and supported by a great community. Well, that sounds nice. I like a little welcoming dialogue there. It makes people feel welcome and like they could get help if they needed. I also really like this. This is something that I don't see too many distros do. It gives you the default username and the default password and the default root password. Now, if you have ever messed around with Ubuntu distros, they're basically wide open when you use the live the live image before you install it. It doesn't give you a root password or anything. You literally can just do anything, which is nice. But I mean, if you plan on using it for any extended amount of time, it's actually quite dangerous because it doesn't have a root password. So anything and everything can install whatever they like. Of course, it's not if you don't put anything on there that's you don't mount any drives and you don't put anything on there that could be stolen. I guess it isn't all that bad, but you restart the machine and everything's back to round one again. But it's nice that they include that. So okay, so we're done with that, and it looks like they gave you an installer. I just wonder what the installer kind of looks like here. Just going to open that up real quick. Oh, this is different. Of course, my screen is a little bit smaller. I don't know if that's... I'll have to change it in OBS here. Move it over for you guys. There we go. Having to jumble around the windows here. Okay, so... I know that I know you guys are going to say, "Oh, you're not doing something right in VirtualBox because it's not stretching out." Well, it's actually a bug, I believe, but I don't really care to diagnose it right now. So, with this installer, MX Linux is independent Linux distribution based on Debian Stable. I actually like that this distro is based off Debian Stable rather than based off Ubuntu, which is based off Debian Stable. It's so annoying when you get a distro that's based off a distro, it's based off a distro, it's based off a distro, and it just seems like, you know, you're piling more problems on top of problems if something comes down the road. You know, if it's a house of cards, and you're up here, and then something goes wrong down here, the whole thing can come crashing down. So it's nice that it's based off of the the foundation rather than the mid plane, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm probably not going to install it on this virtual machine because I'm just using it to demonstrate it to you guys, but I'm going to check out and see what the installer kind of looks like. It definitely looks different than, and I know we have updates. We're running a live version here. It is weird that it would tell me about updates when we're running it. This is just a demonstration, a live USB demonstration. But whatever. That's just me nitpicking. So it notices that there's one hard disk to pick from, which is true because this virtual machine only has one drive in it. I don't know if I like this all that much. This just feels a little clunky and outdated, but then again, it is XFCE, so not that I'm bashing on XFCE, but it's not meant to look and feel like a modern kind of UI. It's meant to be light and easy on your system. So it says run partition tool. So you get to pick a disk and you run partition tool. So I'm not going to hurt anything by clicking this because this is just a virtual machine. Okay, so it uses gparted. So that's kind of neat. So instead of having, it's neat. It's neat for somebody who's in IT because it runs an actual partitioning tool rather than running. I'm trying to keep. If you guys wonder why I keep moving that around, I'm trying to get it in the screen for you guys to see. For someone who's in IT, it's actually kind of nice for it to open up a program where you get an entire partitioning tool, so you can do pretty much anything you want, especially if you're used to setting up Linux systems, rather than having the system like Ubuntu has, where you have to click do this and then do that and then next and then next. This, you can just do everything, especially if you're used to gparted, so you can just go la, 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 done, and you're done. You don't have to worry about partitioning, like clicking, do this next, do this next. You can just literally just partition the whole thing in one tool and then have it all done. So it does have disk encryption, so that's kind of nice. Leave free space up to blank megabytes. I'm not entirely sure what that auto install using entire disk. I'm not entirely sure what is going on here with, and why does it have 1A, 1B, and 1C? I'm not really sure what's going on. Why do they have A, B? Why not just 1, 2, 3? That's me nitpicking, but I also don't really understand this either. Like the auto install using entire disk. Why? Entire disk that you just partitioned, or the entire disk of meaning the entire hard drive, and which hard drive? Well, obviously it would be this one because you have to pick it up here. Okay, so you pick the disk and you run the partitioning tool to pick which you partition that disk, and then I guess well, why would it have, this is just me nitpicking, like why would it have you auto install using entire disk? It should just be, this part should just be completely missing. And I just don't understand what leave free space up to blank megabytes means. But whatever. Okay, so I'm not going to continue because I think it'll probably try to install, and I really don't want to do that. So that's enough for the installer right now. Let's see what else we got on here. Okay, so that's not a menu. That is the leave log out button, which I actually kind of do like. But if people are used to Ubuntu, if you guys remember in regular Ubuntu, the menu button is actually up here. So given that Ubuntu has probably been obviously the most popular Linux distribution probably on the face of the planet, I know that's probably going to be like hate comments about that statement, but you just have to get over yourself. That's pretty much true. Especially a Linux distribution probably being the most popular that has a task bar style thing on the side here. Given that, if you're trying to make it user friendly, you would probably want to put the menu button in the same spot as the previous distribution, just because people are already used to where that button is. So again, that's just me nitpicking, but it is. I do like the fact that you hit one button and you have a menu of what do you want to do, as far as when you're shutting down the system. Like, or do you want to restart it? Do you want to shut it down? Do you want to log out? Or do you want to suspend? I'd rather have that than a button that flares out and does that. This is really kind of nice. Or having a menu where you have to click and then, I do like this part. Let's see. So, looks like that's the desktop switcher, the workspace switcher. Unmount. It is funny that it does have my laptop computer battery on here, even though this is a virtual machine. It somehow detects it through the virtual machine. What is this? Okay, clip it. So I guess it's a clipboard manager. That's kind of neat. So this is their upgrade tool, and I also like this. And I think this looks very similar to other distributions which are running XFCE. It's very, very light and straight to the point. It's not like other Linux distributions where you can uncheck boxes that you don't want or whatever. It's good for grandma. I'm gonna give it that kind of vibe. It's good for grandma because you can tell, hey grandma, you need to update your software, and she goes, I don't know what to do. Do I click yes, or do I click all the check boxes, or what? And I was like, literally, grandma, all you got to do is hit the green box over here, and then hit the green box over here, and then presto changeo, everything is upgraded. So that's kind of nice. Of course, we're not going to do it for real because this is running on this is just an ISO file. Literally, what you guys are seeing is an ISO file. So it probably would fail, or it would update everything, and then it would shut down, and it would be all memory, and so it would just be erased. So This is probably the menu. So, okay, so this is the regular XFCE menu. I've actually seen this before running. What is that? Xubuntu, yeah. So what do we got on here? Let's see. So this was what comes with it by default. Conky Theme Manager. Conky Toggle. Let's see what kind of themes we got. And I'm kind of treating this as if I'm somebody that doesn't know that much about Linux. Like, I'm like, I would be, you know, you would be browsing through this like, well, let's see what we got here, you know. Okay, so looks like there's some kind of clock. Ooh, that's kind of neat. So what does this do? Like, what happens when you click that? And you click start, restart. Okay, so that changes the widget in the background. Okay. I kind of like that. I honestly kind of do. It tells you who's logged in, what the machine name is, how long it's been up, the distribution it's running, the architecture, the kernel version, which I guess I was going to pull the kernel version up later, but anyway, there it is. I guess that's how much RAM is being used by root. Or is that, I'm not entirely sure what root and home mean there. The CPU percentage in use, the RAM percentage in use. So I guess that wouldn't be the amount of RAM. I'm not sure exactly what root and home are supposed to be. I guess that's hard drive percentage in use. Not sure. How much of the swap files in use, and the system temperature in Celsius, which I'm guessing it's not coming through VirtualBox very well, so that's blank. Let's see what else we got. Looking around in here. So MX Linux seems to be very based for geeks, which is kind of nice. Somebody's probably gonna say in the comment section to be like, Conky is something else, like. But it seems to be the clock and widgets, so I'm guessing that. Oh, wait a minute. So we got widgets and then we got themes. So, oh, that's kind of neat. That's kind of beautiful right there, actually. Got your top stories in Google News. Windows definitely couldn't pull that off. So then there's one theme. Let's see. This looks like. Well, that did nothing, didn't it? Okay. I like what they're doing with this, but I think it could be better. Like, it just. Like, it doesn't feel very what's the word, polished. It feels kind of thrown together in a way. Okay, so we got that figured out. Let's see, what did it say? Root was the password for root. Let's see what the package installer looks like. or is it not going to open? Or is it trying to open? Okay, there we go. I could just imagine those, like there's a user and they're sitting here waiting for stuff like this to open. Now, I know, I guess I should be a little fair. This is running off of an ISO again, so it's probably slower than if you just installed it. So this is kind of, I kind of like that. I like how they have everything neatly arranged. Like I'm not a big fan of package managers where it takes up the whole screen and there's just so much there. It's nice to have something nice and compact. I mean, you can't get any more straightforward than that. Like, literally the package name and then what it is, like, and there's nothing else to it. I'm assuming. Oh, that's really nice. So you can click the eye and it gives you a screenshot. Yeah. Props to the Ilmex package manager. Like, it literally is a package manager. If I could actually make a package manager, that's what I would want to see. And they even have Spotify in here, which if you have Spotify, usually you have to install it from either Spotify's website or I think Ubuntu has a snap install for Spotify now. That's really nice. Pretty nice indeed. Let's see. Stable repo. I don't know what it's doing here. Downloading package info. Okay. So that was under popular applications, and I guess this is the entire stable repo for everything in the distribution you can get. Okay, so that's kind of nice. I actually, I don't know why that more distros don't do this, to where this is probably, let's say 80% of the applications that you would want to install, or even 90% of the applications you'd want to install can be found in the tab, where you don't have to go through hundreds of thousands of possible packages. You can just go, oh, audio. Most people are going to have Google or Spotify or want to install Audacity or something. They're not going to want to look through like audio packages of different, audio managers and things that, just, you know what I mean, off the wall audio packages that you're never going to, that are installed in the background or something, that a user technically won't go, I want to go and look for this library of something to install. It just has the name of the actual program. That's really nice. And then of course we got our test repos and Debian backports and things like that probably normal users probably won't use all that much. So that's the package manager. And of course we got our terminal, which is probably looks pretty similar to most terminals. We got LibreOffice. Let's see. Gives you Thunderbird for mail. Firefox, of course, for web browsing. And this is really interesting. That includes the GNOME PPP tool. I'm actually really surprised because I have a modem at the house because I'm a geek as hell, and it's kind of neat to have this actually in a distribution instead of having it instead of having to get it somewhere else that and having to Google search for it. Because as far as I know, this program has actually been discontinued. It's no longer being supported. So to find it actually stuck in a distribution is it's not shocking, but it's surprising. So they got some games here. So we got Hearts and Solitaire. Most of the things that normal users would expect to see in a scrolling space shooter. So it looks like they got something. I don't know if this is going to run. Oh, it's like struggling. Okay. We'll try to go to new game. I just hope this doesn't crash the system. Oh, okay, it's not too bad. Oh, look at that. Huh. Okay. That's not bad. And just to go, that just goes to show how well that XFCE and this distro can handle things, because this is running in a virtual machine, and obviously I was just able to play that game just perfectly fine. So, got some games. I'm assuming all the accessories would be stuff that are normally included with XFCE. Yeah, it seems to be that case. This doesn't really seem all that bad. It does need some work in some areas. I do wonder if this bar, and it does have move. Well, that's probably not what I'm wanting. Panel properties. I'm just going to see if I can move it to the bottom of the screen, because not everybody's going to want to have it on the side. You can't drag it. I don't remember exactly how you get it down there. I think I ended up Google searching it at one point. Okay. So you can do that. And then you click unlock. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, so if any of you already have this distro or wanting to get it and they're worried about, I don't like that sidebar. Also, if I was keeping this as the main distro, I'd probably switch this button and this button out, because I definitely don't like having the menu over here. Just because, we're all used to the Windows style of things. But what you would do is you go to panel, give you a little tutorial here. We go to panel, preferences, and then this will be set, this mode will here be set to vertical. And when you change it to horizontal, it'll stick at the top of the screen here. And then you uncheck mark lock panel, and then it'll show up a little, I'll show you here. You can I don't know if you can see that in the stream or not, but there's like a little weird looking patch there that's on the side. That's all the best way I can explain it. But you'll grab there, and then you can move the bar anywhere on the screen you want. You could even leave it in the middle of the screen if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but if that's what your thing is, then go for it. You can also change its size here, which the default's pretty big. And then when you're done, you can click check mark that lock panel thing again, and it'll get rid of the that little patch that's on the side there. So yeah, it looks pretty nice. I actually kind of like this. I keep saying that for like the 800th time. So yeah, I think that's going to wrap up the stream, guys. I know I put on and more on here, but I didn't know I was going to take up a whole 35 minutes on this stream going over a Linux distro. So anyway, that's Ilmex Linux. You guys can go and get it at what's the website? ilmexlinux.org, which I'll bring up the let me bring up the bring up the thing here in Firefox for you guys. There we go. ilmexlinux.org. Their website's pretty basic looking, but I mean, like most Linux distributions, they don't go for extra stylish. They go for, you know, function, because that's pretty much how Linux works. It's function. It's not so much style. It's function. So anyway, guys, that'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for joining me. I will be reposting this in an edited version, so I can get rid of all the jumps and quiet areas of the video. And I hope you guys go out and try Ilmex Linux. See you all later.